Okay, it works. Thank you, Chloe. I know you can't hear me, but thank you for giving me good instructions. Oh, we'll just wait maybe another minute. I see people still coming in. Although for all the folks that just joined us, let me tell you, Sego has the right idea. They got a big screen on, right? They're enjoying their food that way. Them and whoever else is there, so that's awesome. Okay. So, we'll wait for Joetta. Good to see you, Joetta. Thank you again for coming tonight. Okay, everyone. So just to let you know what's going to happen, I am going to open this up with a prayer. My name is Natalie Giazzo. I'm Natalie. I come from Oklahoma Cayuga people. In my spare time, I do language revitalization work. So this prayer will be a part of that. I'm going to turn my camera off to do it, and then I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to say it in English, and then we'll go from there. So, Swakwego, Swadosios, Nikai Huaka, Dead Wadanahonyo ne Anguasola, Dead Wadanahonyo ne Etinoha Ovejade, Dead Wadanahonyo Ha Deyo Weno Ragye, Onoguatra ni. Dead Wadanahonyo ne Wayamiota. Dead Wadanahonyo ne Ode Hadoni. Dead Wadanahonyo ne Gadinyo. Dead Wadanahonyo ne Onegaonyo. Dead Wadanahonyo ne Kionheko. Dead Wadanahonyo ne Deyowaweni. Deyetinahonyo ne Etisot Hadewanodagies. Des Wadanahonyo ne Sedwagia Edeka Gaguagies. Deyetinahonyo ne Etisota Sonheka Etni Dagies. Deyetinahonyo ne Ojisodagia. Deyetinahonyo ne Kie Niyo Wede Hadio Hadio Geno. Deswadonahonyo ne Songwaidiso. Nanato Nagakweni Inke Akanketak Kanohonyo. Danato. Everyone listen for a little while. And people, we will greet each other. We will give thanks to our Mother the Earth. We will give thanks to the weeds and medicines. We will give thanks to the hanging fruits, and we will give thanks to the trees. We will give thanks to the animals, and we will give thanks to our waters. We will give thanks to our sustenance, and we will give thanks to the stirring winds. We will give thanks to our grandfathers, the thunderers. We will give thanks to him, our elder brother, the sun. We will give thanks to our grandmother moon, and we will give thanks to the stars. We will give thanks to the four heavenly beings, and we will give thanks to him, our creator. That is all what I was able to give thanks. That is all. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for attending day 3 of this year's Blue Jay Festival. I'm very excited tonight for our storytelling night with Itsa Shash, who unfortunately could not be here in person live today, but we are thankful that he recorded a video for us. And just as a little reminder, Blue Jay is not Eli Fund's annual community culture connection arts event. We do this every autumn, and this year, because of the pandemic, we are online, but I'm thankful to have you all here with me today to be able to do that. I'm going to drop the Blue Jay schedule in the chat if y'all would like to see anything in the future. And then we also do have an event sponsor for the first time, so thank you, Big Mossy, to the Seattle Foundation for helping us put on this event. And so just to let everyone know, this event will be interactive. All my drummers and singers and dancers, I'm very excited for y'all to listen in, and for this to be your time. Just make sure that you're muted, so that way we don't have sound, sounds all clashing together. So, but feel free, if you want to dance around and show everyone else too, you can have your video on. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, I'm going to mute myself at some point. Let's see. Okay. Can y'all see my screen? Sorry, I have to. Yep, okay, I can see it. And then let me make sure that I share the sound. And I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and we will go from there.
Piali, newa na toka Itsa Shash, hekakoat, hekakwikani. I'm happy to be here with you all. My name is Itsa Shash. I'm Chichimeca, Nawa, and Apache. I'm living here on Coast Salish lands over here, the Chehalis, Squaxin, Nisqually area. So I'd just like to extend my thanks to be here, to be invited to come and share these stories from within my home all the way into your home. I'm so excited to share a little bit. And I was hoping we could all come together and share and participate. To be together is like one voice, one heart, one song, one people. Some of the stories, well, all of the stories are teachings. Some people say they're legends. Some people say they're stories, and all this may be true, but I believe that the stories are teachings, and what they're teaching us is different because we all learn differently, and this is good. This is how we learn from one another. This is how we teach one another. Some of the stories that I will be sharing with you are ones that I grew up with, stories from my own people, and some of them are other stories that I've learned as I've gotten older from other storytellers. And I really want to share maybe a few stories as well from the people of this land where I live in this Coast Salish area, because the stories are teachings, and I believe many of the people tuning in are right from the land here. And it's good that we hear the teachings from the land here, right in this time with the changing of the seasons of this time of year. And I was just thinking about this little story about this time of year and the way it made me think about the way we need each other. And this story is it's a little story. It just made me think about it when my family, my little son and his mother, his Itla, they were just out going and looking for the nusuk, the salmon. It comes up these little streams where we live here, because some of you may know the way that salmon are. They're born from those little eggs high up here in these streams, way up high, and they make their way down through the streams, all the way to the ocean. And there they live in the ocean, and they live in the ocean as they get bigger, and they live there until they get really big. And when they're all full grown, they come back up that stream, and they come back up the stream back to the place where they were born. And that's where they laid their eggs there, and the life cycle starts over again. And that is nusuk, that is salmon, and the way that they live. This story is a simple story. It's a story about this salmon that had come down the stream like that and was living in the water there in the ocean. And then they made their way back up. It was that time in their life when they were full grown and they were coming back up the stream, and they were coming back up that stream, and they began to get tired. They began to get really tired going up that stream, and they started to think to themselves, maybe I won't make it maybe I won't make it back. I'm getting so tired. But right then, another salmon came by, and this salmon was bigger than this salmon, this little salmon who was getting tired. This salmon was bigger than this little salmon that was getting tired, and they said, "You look tired there. Why don't you just grab onto my fin here, and I'll carry you up that stream?" And that salmon thought it was a good idea. They grabbed onto their relative's fin there, and they began to swim together. They began to swim together up the stream, until that big salmon could carry the little salmon no further. And he said, "You have to let go now. If I carry you any further, I'll get too tired and I won't make it." So the little salmon let go, and they were there going up the stream again, and they were feeling tired still. They were still tired, and they began to think, maybe I won't make it. Maybe I'm not going to make it up there. Well, right then, while they were going, an even bigger salmon came. This salmon was very big. It was even bigger than the other salmon that had come and helped just a little while ago. This one was very big, and they said, "Little salmon, why don't you grab onto my fin and I will help carry you?" And they began to carry that little salmon up the stream, and they were going together. They were going together, that big salmon, when that big salmon said, "Little salmon, this is as far as I can take you. If you don't let go now, I will get too tired and I might not make it." And so that little salmon let go and started swimming up that river, and they were getting tired, and they started to think to themselves again, maybe I won't make it. Maybe I'm not going to make it back up this river here, when an even bigger salmon came. This salmon was so big and so strong. When it came by, it looked and said, "Little salmon, why don't you grab on to my fin and I will carry you all the way?" And that is what little salmon did. Little salmon grabbed on to that big salmon, and they carried them all the way up that river to where they were trying to go. And that is all. Now, when I tell a story, I'm teaching you something. And what I'm teaching you, I don't know, because we all learn differently, and this is good. My job as a storyteller is very easy. All I have to do is tell the story, but you have to think. You have to think about, why is it that I'm hearing this particular story today? What is it that I'm learning about this story to get today? One of my teachers from Sklallam, Lower Elwha, Roger Fernandez, who taught me this story, to say that sometimes we have a teaching already within us, and the story is a way to help us find it within ourselves. We're going to share a song. I'd love to share a song with you. So before we do that song, we'll have to get our voices ready. You have to have a good voice to be able to bring it out and sing. Maybe there's some singers who would like to sing. Maybe you have some kind of way that you like to prepare yourself to sing in your home. Maybe you have other people around you who are bigger, older than you, who want to have ways to help you get your voice ready. Maybe there are little ones around you that you can help to get ready. All the different ways. This is a good time right now to get your medicines, get in a good place to sing, to drum. This time of the year right now, we're in fall time, as the leaves start to fall. leaves start to fall, start to think about all the plant medicines that we have gifted to us in this area. And there's one story about this plant medicine over here, and I'll share this little story about it while you go about doing what you need to do to prepare yourself to sing, to prepare your voice in a good way. And this story starts a long time ago when people had little voices. They had little voices they would go to speak, and they had nobody could hear anything they were saying, because that's what happens when you have a little voice. It's very hard to hear you. Well, one day there was a girl from that village, and they were walking out there in the woods. They were walking out there, and they heard a voice, and they said, "Little girl, come over here." And in a little voice, she said, "It's me over here." Over here. Oh, I see now. There's a plant here. There's a plant. It's on this tree. It's growing. Oh, I know you. You're licorice fern. Yes, this was licorice fern. And licorice fern said, "Take me with you. You could chop up my roots here." And that little girl chopped up the roots and said, "Take a little bit and try some." And in a little voice, that girl said, took that licorice fern and tasted it. Wow, that's really, oh, that little girl got a big voice. When they ate that licorice fern, got a big voice. Said, "Wow, I have this big voice now." Oh, she felt very thankful to licorice fern, and gathered up the pieces and went back to the village. And when she saw all of her people there, she said, "Hello!" And all the people said, they were amazed. She had such a big voice, and they had little tiny voices. They started talking amongst each other. They wanted to know how she got that big voice. So she told them about licorice fern, and she brought that fern out, and she shared it with the people and told them about how licorice fern had told her how to get a big voice. And that is all. We're going to share this song together. We're going to share this song. Maybe some of you are drummers. Maybe you have a drum that you like to play for this song. Now might be a good time to get your drum. Maybe some of you are drummers, but you didn't bring your drum today. Now might be a good time to drum on your lap, if you would like to drum along. We're going to share this song together, and maybe some of you like to dance. Maybe while we're singing this song, you could dance. You could dance to the song in the way that you know how to dance. And this would be good. I have this drum here with me. I'm going to share with you this song. This song is a song that I caught. I caught this song one day, not too long ago when my son was a little bit littler, just a little baby trying to fall asleep. And I caught this song and I used to sing it to him in my arms and we would dance and he would fall asleep. And I call this song the Rabbit Song. And there's a couple parts for it. And we could sing it together. I will show you the way that it goes. Are we ready? Okay, we're going to begin. Singers ready? Drummers ready? Dancers ready? The first part goes like this. Yo ho ho when the drum does this, it's going to be a little bit softer. Yo ho oh, and then very fast. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, whoa, oh, That's all the parts. Here we go. Drummers ready? Singers? Dancers? Yo ho ho Raise up my hands to you. Thank you for joining me in that song. Thank you for sharing. This is raising hands. This is not something I grew up with. back home, we didn't do this. But my teachers out here, they told me that this is like the cedar trees when they're lifting up their hands, their top branches up. See, you're lifting me up, making me feel good. Thank you. This is a way for us to lift each other up. So I just raise my hands to all of you for helping out and sharing. The people here too of this land for sharing those teachings with us. And so give thanks. Tlaso Kamati. Try to remember that song. We're going to bring it back in just a little while with this story that I'm going to share with you. And we'll do a little dance with it that I learned from my father. And this story is an Apache story I learned from my father, Itsa Shash. And it begins with dogs. Now, we all know dogs. Well, we know dogs, and some of you have dogs at home, probably. Some of you may not have dogs at home, but you've probably seen dogs when you're out walking, and sometimes one dog will see another dog way over there. And they'll get really excited. They get really excited, and they want to go over there and they want to see that other dog. Sometimes that other dog sees that other dog looking at them. Sometimes they get kind of scared. Sometimes they also get really excited. And they see that other dog, and oftentimes those dogs, if they start getting close to each other, they start getting close, they start turning in circles. They start coming around each other in circles, and they get really close, close enough to get to their tails, and they start smelling. Now, maybe nobody's ever told you why dogs do that. That's what this story is about. This story begins a long time ago. And a long time ago, the dogs used to love to get together. They would love to get together and they would dance. They would dance together in their big house. And they'd be getting their drums. They'd be playing that drums. Sometimes they would be singing those songs. Hey, oh, 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 oh. Hey, oh, 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 oh. Something was wrong. Well, I'll tell you what was wrong. Those dogs, if you've ever seen, dogs, they have big long tails. Those dogs got those big long tails like that. And if you can imagine dancing with the tail, it gets a little hard. Sometimes when you turn and you got that big tail and there's someone else turning by you with a big tail and you turn together, sometimes you hit each other with your tails and whoo! It doesn't feel very good to get hit by a tail. And some of the dogs would get angry. They go, and it was no fun at all to be dancing around like that with those big long tails. So, the dogs were thinking about this. They were thinking about this problem. And the chief of the dogs, he had an idea. He thought about it. He said, "Oh, I got an idea. We'll go out to the cornfields where the corn grows really tall up there, the way that corn grows like that up really tall. We'll go out to the cornfields." And all the dogs thought this this could be a good idea. So they went out there and they left and they went out to the cornfields. When they got out to the cornfields, there was that big tall corn growing, just like that, real tall. That corn was real tall over there. And the chief said, okay, everybody, what we're going to do, we're going to take off these tails. Here we go. Okay. And take your tails and just hang it on the corn here like this. There we go. Up real high. Be safe there. We got no tails now. We can turn around in a circle. See? No, this could work really good. And well, the dogs tried it a little bit. They were a little bit cautious at first. Yo ho 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 hey whoa 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 hey. Oh yeah, that works really good. And they thought about it and they said, let's sing, let's dance, let's have a good time. And they got really excited and they began to dance a dance together. And the dance we're going to do together right now, like the dogs. We're all going to be like the dogs together here for this dance. And we're going to be doing the rabbit dance with the rabbit song. And the way this dance goes is just to our song that we're doing. So drummers ready, singers ready, dancers ready. When the drum goes like this, we have to hop a little bit. Yo ho 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 when the drum does this part, we got to lift up our hands high into the sky, and then we turn around in a circle. Oh ho oh ho oh ho a nice slow circle. We're going to turn around in a slow circle. That wind is catching our big rabbit ears and it's turning us around in a nice slow circle. And then we get so tired from getting blown around like that, we got to get real low down to the ground. Whoa, 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 whoa. But we're rabbits trying to get home. We got to keep going. We got to keep dancing. And so we get up and we keep dancing. We'll say, keep going. One way we can say that is keep going. Okay, all right, here we go. You got all those? All right, we get it ready together. Drummers ready, singers ready, dancers ready. Yo ho 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 whoa ho whoa ho oh going. Yo ho 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 eh. Oh ho oh ho oh ho oh ho eh. Oh ho oh ho oh ho oh ho eh. Oh ho oh ho oh ho eh. Keep going. Yo ho 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 oh ho ho eh. Oh ho oh ho eh. Oh, 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 eh. Oh, 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 eh. Keep going. Yo ho 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 eh. Oh ho oh ho eh. Oh ho oh eh. Oh, 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 eh. Keep going. Yo, oh, eh. Oh, oh. There was a big, scary sound, and everybody who was dancing, everybody who was singing, everybody who was drumming stopped. And they looked around and they had dancing instruments out. They put them back away. And then they got really scared and they ran. Now, nobody knows what this scary sound was because the dogs got so scared they didn't even look back to see what it was. They were so scared. They ran really fast back to the cornfield and grabbed tails. And when they got back to their village, something was wrong. They all looked around. All the dogs stopped there and they looked around and they looked and they saw something. They saw something over there. There was this black dog over there, and that black dog had a white tail. And then they looked over there and there was a black dog over there. There was a black dog. That black dog had a white tail. There was a white dog with a black tail. Wait a second. Oh, look at that one. There was a big fluffy dog. And that fluffy dog had a tail with straight hair on it. And there was a dog over there with straight hair. And then it had all this fluffy tail. All woolly like that. And there was a big dog, a big giant dog that had this little tiny tail. And there was this little tiny dog with a big long tail. Had a big long tail. And they said, "Oh, I think I know what happened. We were so scared when that big sound came. We just ran as fast as we could. We didn't look back. We didn't try to see what was there. And we just ran so fast and grabbed any tail that we could find off of the corn there. And we got our tails all mixed up. Everyone's got their tails mixed up. So that's why today, when you see those dogs come together and they see each other, one over there looking over there at that one looking back over at that one, and when they come together and they start circling around and they get close enough to get to each other's tails, they take a big sniff and say, "You got my tail?" That's what they're saying to each other. So now, remember to think about this story and think about, what is this story teaching me today? Sometimes when we hear the story when we're very little, and sometimes when we hear it as we get older, and then older still, sometimes we learn something new from the stories every time. Now, I have a little bit more time with you. Thank you for sharing sharing in that song and that dance, making me feel good. I hope the little ones, if those of you who are at home with little ones, really got to dance and enjoy their time. This other story that I'm going to tell you now, it's not so much singing and dancing. So maybe if you need a minute to put some of your medicines away, put some of your things that help you get your throat ready, help get your singing together. If you need to put those things away, this might be a good time to do that. And while we're doing that, I'll just share a little thought I had. Someone asked me sometime. They said, "Could I share those stories that I heard?" And I always like to say, "Yeah, I love it when those stories can get shared around." And it's always a really good idea to ask the person when we learn it from them, and also to uh, to learn the story first. And when I say that, I mean the story being really deep inside you. When you heard a story maybe just one time, um, might not know the story yet. Might have to listen to it for a while and say, well, if you're still hearing a story about dogs losing their tails, maybe you don't know the story yet. So think about that. I'm going to share one last story with you. Not so much, not a lot of dancing or singing with this story. And this is a story from my Nawa side of my family. And this is a story about Quetzalcoatl. See, it's Quetzalcoatl. That means a beautiful serpent, big, beautiful like a snake, a big, beautiful snake. And in this story, just like when people say, well, the stories are myths, I say, oh, maybe not so much. I think the stories are more teachings. Well, Quetzalcoatl is what we would call a teot. And people say, oh, those are your gods. And I say, oh, well, maybe not so much. Those are our teachers. They're the ones that teach us different things in the teachings, in the stories. They're a way to learn. And so you might hear there might be other tales in the story, like Tlaloc, the story of rain, the tale of rain, thunder, water. So I begin this story a long time ago, but it wasn't a long time ago. Like it wasn't like at the way beginning when like way Siwa and came together. Ome Tekutli, Ome Siwa, when they like came together and made uh children and made all the four first Teteo that came on, like Huitzilopochtli, Xipetotec, Texcatlipoca, and Quetzalcoatl. Like it wasn't then. It wasn't even after they made like the Earth monster and they all had the battle and they broke apart and created this Earth that we were created. And then they created, the sun like one time and then that would destroy the whole world, not one time, but like twice and three times and four times. Like everything was destroyed, and then they even like recreated people again, and all these people were created for like another time on this whole other world. That's where this story begins. This story begins at the beginning of that world, after all the people were made there, and they're all these brand new people, and Quetzalcoatl, the beautiful snake, had helped all of these people be created by getting all of these bones and turning them into dust from the old people and mixing some of the life force of all the Teteo. They put their own life force into there to create all of these people. And now all these people were here, and Quetzalcoatl loved these people, and they were hungry. They were hungry. He created all these people, and they didn't have food. They were very hungry, and so being that loving Theo that he was, that beautiful serpent went out looking for food. And he was traveling on the world, traveling around looking. And didn't really see much. He was looking around, he saw some things. They didn't really look like food. They wouldn't be fit for people to eat. And then one day on his travels, he saw somebody, a relative there, way down low, a little person. And this little person was Ant. Ant was so small down there, so teeny tiny, and yet Ant was carrying this piece of grain that was maybe still small by what I would think is small, but it was much bigger than Ant was. And this grain, this seed that this ant was carrying was very interesting. And Quetzalcoatl looked at that seed, and he started to get hungry. He said, you know what? That seed looks pretty tasty. It looks pretty good. I wonder if that could be food for the people. And so he looked at that ant and he said, relative, well, can you tell me about that seed there? Where did you get that one? Where's that one come from? And that ant said, oh yeah, this big giant seed that I'm carrying, that's Sintli. That's the corn. That's the corn seed. And I got it from over that way. Over there was that mountain of sustenance over there. That's where it is, over that way. Quetzalcoatl said, oh, well, do you think you could show me where it is? And the ant said, well, I don't know if you could come. Here, I'll show you. And they came over and they went walking until they came to this opening in the earth. And it was this little tiny hole. It was really small. It's this little tiny hole, just big enough for an ant to go through. And he said, it's all in there. That little hole right there, that's the way you go in, and that's where the food is. Well, Quetzalcoatl was a shapeshifter. They were able to change themselves into many different forms. And so Quetzalcoatl changed themselves down into a little tiny ant. changed himself into a little tiny ant and went over there to that little tiny hole and began to fit, sure enough, fit right in there and went in that little hole all the way in that little hole, deep into the mountain until they came into a big room. This big room was inside of the mountain of sustenance. It was way inside of that mountain, and it was inside there, and they looked around, and there they saw the different kinds of corn that were there. That corn seed was in big piles, different colors of corn, red corn and white corn and blue corn and green corn, yellow corn, all these different corn that were all those different places. And Quetzalcoatl looked around and said, yeah, this will be the food for the people. This will be the food to feed them. But how do I get all of this food out of here and spread all over the world for the people to eat? Well, Quetzalcoatl thought about this and he decided he would need help from the Teteo, the Tlaloque. He said, I'm going to go find Tlaloc, the Teot of the rain. And so he went out there and he went over there to that place where the Tlaloque lived. And he traveled over there. And when he got there, he said, hey, brothers, I need some help. I need some help. You see, you remember all those people that we created here? Well, they're really hungry and they need some food. And I found some. It's over there in that mountain of sustenance. But I need to find a way to get that mountain open. Do you think you could help me? And so the Tlaloque thought about this and they said, yeah, we could help. We could do that. And they got together and four of them, four Tlaloque from the different directions, came over to the mountain of sustenance and they brought their ropes. And from all the different directions, one from the east tied that rope around the mountain. One over there from the south tied that rope around that mountain. One in the west tied that rope around the mountain. And one over there in the north tied their rope around that mountain. And then they all got on their ropes and they started to pull. One in one direction, one in another direction, one in another direction, one in another direction. And they pulled in all those four directions. And when they pulled very fast, the mountain came apart. And it came apart so violently and so strong and so fast. It was like an explosion. It opened up and all that corn seed exploded up out of the mountain and spread all over, and where it fell, it started to grow. It became all those different kinds of corn that we have today. And those corn became the food for the people. And that is all. Thank you, relatives, for having me here this evening. Hope you're all feeling good today with your families this season, well fed and feeling good. Thank you for this time to share a couple teachings, for joining me in some songs and some stories. Tlasokamati, Mashipaktemi. We'll see you around and have a good evening. I will sing a thank you song and then I'm gonna close it up. Okay, this is a thank you song that I composed for our canoe family, Spirit of Raven canoe family out of Suquamish, the elder canoe family out of there, and it's in their language, and this is Taguitsi, which is thank you. Okay. Oh, eh, ya. Oh, eh, ya. Oh, eh. Tagwiti has. We, ya. Oh, eh. Tagwiti has. Eh, ya. Oh, eh. Way away, way away, highway. Oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, Tagwiti has way, oh, Tagwiti has oh, Tagwiti has way Tagwiti has way away, way away, highway. Oh, eh, oh, eh, oh, Tagwiti has way, oh, Tagwiti has way away, way away, highway.
Wow, thank you, Itsa. We raise our hands up. Oh, that was so good. Susan, thank you for raising your hands with me. Uh, this was wonderful. Thank you, everyone. I hope you got to enjoy it. I hope you got to dance. I hope you got to sing. I hope you got to have fun. I know I was practicing earlier today because I knew the singing would be coming up. So I was like, yeah, let's practice. Let's get our voices going. So we're about at the hour, so I'll make it quick in respect of y'all's time. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you want to find out more about Na'ilihi Fund or what we do, you can go to our website, na'ilihi.org. I could go ahead and put that in the chat along with our Blue Jay schedule. We do have other events this week, which is super exciting. Tomorrow at noon Pacific, we will have our food sovereignty grantees speaking about their projects, which are all community level, who are funded by us and what their projects are like now and what they're up to now. And then in the evening, we're going to have Itai Jeffries. They're going to be reading their Sassy Sassafras book. That will be a Zoom only discussion, so we're not going to stream that one. Yep, Sego, I can send that to you as well. But so Itai's storytelling will be Zoom only, so it won't be streamed. So if you want to join the discussion regarding queer identities and Native interpretations of them, go ahead and join us tomorrow at 6 p.m. With that, I think that's everything. If you have any more questions, just check out our Facebook.